Boko Haram, an armed group that has ripped families apart and stolen the childhood of countless children. They're a living nightmare for the families forced to flee their homes.
Karalan kidan deso dien, numoron deso nati erija, uraja selien, buyendo, Boko Haram makasho na, ande chose.
Boko Haram's aim is to establish its own state.
Fight against Boko Haram has had a huge toll on civilians in northern Nigeria.
And since 2013, the armed conflict between the Nigerian military and Boko Haram has torn the region apart, with atrocities committed on both sides.
Amnesty International say these corpses are evidence of disease, starvation and gunshot wounds in Giwa barracks. Amnesty says 149 people, including 12 children, some of them babies, have died because of...
The Nigerian military is detaining thousands of children in harsh and degrading conditions for their suspected involvement with the Boko Haram terrorist group.
An Amnesty International investigation reveals the toll of the conflict on the children of northeast Nigeria and how Boko Haram's atrocities are compounded by the Nigerian authorities' own war crimes and their failure to protect children and their families caught up in the conflict. Boko Haram has attacked schools, recruited child soldiers, and forced young girls into marriage. In 2014, Boko Haram dominated world headlines when they abducted 276 schoolgirls from the village of Chibok.
Families have identified the girls as some of the more than 200 students kidnapped from Chibok, if you remember, 2 years ago.
But this pattern of crimes is much wider, and it persists. Boko Haram continues to force parents to hand over boys and girls under threat of death. Some people attempt to flee Boko Haram territory under cover of night with what little they can carry.
Boko Haram bune kashe padara gripsa and the tertere soroblalanto sorokararan kaundi yakbon karala bonyen patra naimba.
But for many who manage to escape, a new nightmare awaits. Almost everyone fleeing Boko Haram territory, including children, is screened by the military. A process that can involve torture until the person confesses to affiliation with Boko Haram.
Tsabar duka da shan wahala ya sa suka amsa sunan Boko Haram. An yanke musu hukunci na gidan yari irin mu da yawa. An ji musu ciwo, wasu ma an kai su lahira, an kashe su.
Abio was detained by the military for alleged affiliation with Boko Haram, though he says he was never involved with the group. Like many others Amnesty has interviewed, Abio faced unimaginable horrors.
Ga rashin abinci, ga rashin ruwa. Zaka ji mutane suna ihu, suna bukatar ruwa. Mun sha azaba. Zaka ji mutum yana ihu saboda rashin ruwa, yana cewa oga ruwa, oga ruwa.
At just 12 years old, he was detained and tortured. He spent more than 4 years in detention without trial and without seeing his family or a lawyer.
Wani lokaci idan Boko Haram suka kai wa sojoji hari sai su huce haushinsu a kanmu, su mana duka. Haka aka kashe wasu, aka inji, wasu yunwa ta kashe su, a cikin mu 8 da aka tsare a ɗaki ɗaya. Mu 3 zuwa 4 ne muka tsira da rai.
Many young children have parents who are still in military detention. Often, they have had no news for years and are uncertain when or if their parents will be released. Many live with grandparents. At 65 years old, Amira now cares for 6 grandchildren. Her sons were arrested by the Nigerian military. Like countless others interviewed by Amnesty, Amira said the only crime our sons had committed was fleeing Boko Haram territory.
Ya kama da kasum na kwallon ba. Boko Haram kun den karan kamfionin. Numbuto to masuk.
Amira now supports her grandchildren on her own in an IDP camp.
Dangen godonguna. Kala durian. Kana bonyena. Kazumu ba dayena. Bosari chimpak.
For Amira's grandson, Hamad, there is no accessible school in the camp.
Kakande bosortin monti bao abande andia montiro ikoi bao wajafat injiso lene shuro kurien kiskaso lene shuro teren jiri aundula karinge butu andia sandana ande maduk shuro den aundu shambo uzuna ande gana da ande da shuro banaden.
Ahmad does what he can to help earn some money to support the family.
Kintau soro zawa duten do kakaya bana en mak zawa dute kintau so tamoya du dew so jewyeru wasoro ledia andero kerendela kamjin awla sidin sunola andero chin kalandela resachu kamjin.
Hamad's story is a familiar one. Robbed of a childhood and with schools often inaccessible, children do what they can to help their families survive.
Nala ishe nada duri de kana borkoe ba buche ba buriye ba.
But school and the chance for an education are never far from their thoughts.
O amane na kramango andia kramianya andia duk sokraro se kana rakana malum mo waltmango ara kana do andia monchiro ande duk so gumnati sekko
Chamonti ba kai do kama abande so ba kai urani anglagi andero montila o zadero monti di chafonde krani na ma lerdendero amde kuraso bananen am so shimonen doctor laro wolle na ma am so shimonen.
For those children released from detention, school is a forgotten dream. They may be free, but they can never escape their unjustified association with Boko Haram.
Duk abokaina 'yan ajinmu sun ci gaba a rayuwa, amma ni har yanzu gani nan, sojoji sun ɓata min suna a unguwa, kowa yana min kallon zargi, gaskiya ban ji daɗi ba.
For the families of those being held unjustly by the government, there's only one thing they want.
Tatani ora sotulu sanna ma haitala man sholi ba hala iro tatani ora sadu bingero tatani ora sadu marta ada mana zarmo